All right. Yeah, I think I missed last week again. Yeah, it's a busy time. So I think last week when I said I was busy, I was busy, but now I'm even busier. I mean, okay, yeah, it's relative. But anyway, so the semester is in full strength, and now there's this web conference deadline, and I missed a few papers to be submitted to ICWSM September 15th. And I said, okay, yeah, I have 3 weeks. I'll work on them and I'll submit to the web conference. Now I have those papers and then some other papers, and then someone else also wants to submit something. Man, I don't have like I only have like two students, and like I am already just so overwhelmed with so many things. I can't believe like how like people who have like five, six, 10, a team of 20, I was recently talking to someone who said I have a team of 20. I have like a team of two and I'm like overwhelmed. Like, so it's yeah, it's a bit uh, busy. Okay, so the web conference deadline is in a few days. Uh, yeah, it's I mean, I just am a bit so stressed. And obviously, when you're stressed, you don't do a lot of work, a lot of productive work. And also, it's this sort of very critical time of like, okay, you have all the data, you have all the most of the results, and now you have to write up. Or for me, because of the situation where I'm in, I work with a lot of like these undergrads, and so they can produce like a lot of analysis and like they can produce the data sets, but they cannot do the analysis. So I have a couple of projects like that where at the data and I need to do the analysis. And man, it's just and then the writing. Okay, writing now, thanks to LLMs, like has been writing used to be such a huge task, but now it's like not the worst task. I mean, it's still a bad task, but so now, yeah, I have let's say two of those which I have to do some of the analysis myself. One of them, one more, which is like a single author paper that I've been wanting to write and publish for almost like 3 years now. So I remember like I was telling someone, oh, I mean, this is going to be a huge paper, whatever, things like that 3 years ago. I still haven't published that. I mean, it's been a nightmare to get that data, but okay, I got the data now. I have to do the analysis and write things up. So that's also on me. So I mean, I used to really hate when people say, okay, I am submitting 5 papers, 6 papers to this conference, and there are people who submit 20 papers. I used to always think an earlier version of me, oh man, like these are, like what science are these people doing? How can you submit 5 papers? Okay, now I'm submitting 5 papers to this web conference. Maybe I'll not submit one or two of those, but I'm aiming to submit 5 papers. And honestly, like, okay, like they're really in a very bad shape. I don't know, two of them I have not, except the abstract, nothing else has been even put down on paper. So, I have to come up with like 8 pages of text and then all the figures and all the organization. And I'm planning to do that in like, so tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, so three and a half, maybe I'll work on the afternoon of Sunday, which I never do. So yeah, in 3.5 days, I'm planning to do something like a lot of analysis, which I'm not really sure. I mean, not just the analysis. Okay, I mean, it's not just the analysis. Okay, there's that. Then I come across some. Okay, Microsoft Research has this AI grant, and I have an idea. Write the entire grant. Thanks to Gemini, now I can write it quickly once I have the idea. But then I realized, okay, the grant is very specific to education. So now I have to rewrite all the 4 pages that I wrote. And most of my ideas, so my idea was more about like this sort of mental health and things like that. That does not, especially for like education. I mean, I just tried to sell it as like students' mental health, but okay, that did not seem like a convincing thing. Don't think people would buy it. So now I had to rewrite that. So that took like half a day. Then there's some other fellowship thing that is like, I mean, it's a line in the CV, but the deadline for that is on Monday, so I have to do that. And then I'm tired. I'm really tired. And there's a bunch of other like personal things, like my son has not been feeling well, and like that has been mental. It's bothering me a lot, like so things like that. Um, so yeah, so so it's a very busy time, and again, like is this the um, it's all self-imposed, right? Like so we nobody told me, nobody is looking at me, nobody is telling me that you have to do this at this time. I just do it because okay, there'll be some sort of payoff, and once I write these down, like I can show them off like forever, all of that kind of stuff, right? And done is always better than perfect. But yeah, I mean that final phase is always really hard. And so yeah, the last 2 weeks, I mean, it's just it's just this week that the heat has been turned on, like because there's a abstract deadline and all of that stuff. Like, but now it's even I'm in the heat of it. Like every day that passes by, like where I don't do and something like productive is lost time because it's more likely that I will not probably submit one or two of these papers, which will then disappoint either myself or like some of the students who've done a lot of hard work on this. Yeah. So let's see. Hopefully, we'll do 100% and then deliver. There are some papers which are like, okay, at this stage, we don't have the results either, even like, and I've been begging the students for, okay, send me some results. And the problem is like, this has happened a couple of times, and once it happens to you, you don't want it to happen again. It's like the students has just moved on, and you're just begging them, okay, just do the final push for like 2 days, and you should be able to be done. But they don't have that time, or they're not interested, they don't care. And you've invested like a lot of effort, money, time into this, and you want to see it done. Yeah, that's the worst situation to be in. But anyway, so there's some of those as well. Let's see where this goes. But hopefully, yeah, Tuesday night is gonna be a long night. But yeah, so that's where I am these days. Yeah, and also some like these news on the visas and all that stuff is like super demotivating. You really constantly think, okay, what is your alternative? There's not much of a big alternative, and like you really, yeah, it's it's not a great time. And obviously, when you have a lot of other work, you try to think of these sorts of things. Anyway, so yeah, I'll see you hopefully next week. And yeah, so once this deadline passes, and hopefully if I make it through, like I'll make it through, but I'll make it through successfully and submit most of these papers, then I think I have one deadline on the end of November and one deadline in the end of December. I mean, the December one is like a self-imposed one, but one big deadline, like a journal deadline, IGPP, in November. Hopefully, if I can get that done, then I think for this year, I should be done with paper submissions or at least planning for submissions. So yeah, let's see.